Hello and welcome to Fast Horses Today for Friday. Today is July 31st. We're going to be going over some races over at Del Mar. They do have a pick six carryover there at Del Mar. I think it's a small amount. I think it's just over $30,000. So if you're playing the pick six, I'm going to wish you the best luck. I'm not doing it today, but let's get started with a little Bing Crosby at Old Del Mar. So let's get Bing Crosby to intro this, and we'll get started on the races at Del Mar. So like Bing Crosby said, where the turf meets the surf at Del Mar, we will get started there. I'm going to pass over the first few races. We're going to play that late pick five. As I've said many times, that the late pick five is usually a really nice value on pick six carryover days. Folks bring in, more money to play with pick six carryovers, and that late pick five ends up having an inflated pool and just offers up some nice value for us pick five players. So the late pick five does start out in the fourth race today. Fourth race has an approximate post time about 3:30 Pacific, so that's 5:30 in the evening here in the Central Time Zone. We're starting out with a nice race. It's a 6 furlong dirt sprint. This is a second level allowance race here, so nice race, nice purse, $82,000. They got a nice collection of horses, some speedy types, some nice horses. This is definitely a class race to start out this late pick five. I'm going to start this race with two horses to get this pick five started. I think one of these two will get it going and advance the ticket for us. Going to start out with the one horse, who is Simple Song for Mark Glatt. Kazushi Kimura on the horse here. Now this horse, she's lightly raced, or he's lightly raced, I should say, for a 4-year-old, 6 starts here, but a nice record, 2 wins, 2 seconds, and a third. This horse has been knocking around Allowance Company. Last time out, this horse ran a really nice race in the Triple Bend, coming second to Stronghold. I thought Stronghold, it was a nice winner that day, but I thought Stronghold was going to end up showing up nicely in the grade 1 Bing Crosby last week, but he didn't show up there. 6 furlongs, probably too short. Good segue here, because this is a 6 furlong race. Simple Song is a sprinter, fast early, see if he can hold on. That's kind of been, his MO in several races, and Kimura's been on this horse, so this Kimura certainly knows, how this horse runs and is familiar with Simple Song. So I could see Simple Song getting out on top, given the body of this race here. The one hole is probably not as ideal as you'd like, but it's a small field, so Kimura should get out and go. We'll see if this horse wants to go 6 furlongs. The other horse I'm going to put in here, that being the 3 horse, was Hijazi for Bob Baffert, Juan Hernandez. Juan Hernandez coming off a big day on Thursday, with several wins there. Now Hijazi, this horse, I guess, you'd say this horse was a disappointment given the purchase price. This horse cost $3.5 million a few years back, and, just has a couple second place finishes in grade 1, so I'm guessing that's probably not what they were looking for with a purchase price like that. But Hijazi comes in off a layoff. Last time we saw this horse, he ran second in the grade 1 Bing Crosby last year to Lovesick Blues, and almost got it done there. Lovesick Blues was the only horse coming, to catch Hijazi. So Hijazi 7-5 in the program. He's fired well fresh off layoff, so that's what's happening here. The work tab doesn't look like your normal Bob Baffert work tab, but I just feel with the horses here, that given this horse's, running style, maybe sitting off the pace, sitting off of Simple Song and finishing up, I think either the 1 or the 3, should certainly do well here in this race. I thought about putting in Speedy Wilson, but I think Speedy Wilson does want to run longer. I think 6 furlongs probably a little too short for Speedy Wilson. Seems like he wants to go 7, 6.5 or 7 would probably be more ideal. I think 6 might be short for him. So I think the 1 and the 3 should be a good start here to this pick 4 in the 4th race. Let's go over to the 5th race of the day. 5th race is a 6 furlong sprint, and these are your bottom level maiden claimers. They're going 6 furlongs. These are state bred claimers, $12,500 state bred fillies and mares. So yeah, this is your bottom rung. I studied through this race, and I'm going to put the 2 inside horses here. I think they've got the shot to win here. I wish these horses were more outside position. It would be even better, but there's just not a whole lot of talent in this race. And I think, either of these horses can overcome those inside posts. I'm going to put the one horse who was Pennyworth for Phil D'Amato. Tyler Bays takes the call here. This horse taking that big drop from maiden special weight races to maiden claiming races. This horse is also coming off a layoff. We haven't seen this horse since last fall back at Los Alamitos in September. But, looks like the works are good enough. Certainly this is a big drop. And when we see horses dropping from these maiden special weights, especially to these 12-5 claimers, these horses get a whole lot faster, and they're right in the mix of things. So Pennyworth at 3-1. If there's any jock that I really do like riding the rail, it is Tyler Bays. I've seen Tyler Bays do this many times at Del Mar as well. And I think Bays, just has an ability there. When he gets caught on the rail, he seems to be able to get the best out of his horse. So Pennyworth, I think, is going to be live here at 3-1. And I'm going to put the two horse who was Forgotten Memories. Kazushi Kimura rides for Craig Lewis. This is the second time here with this horse. This horse ran in this same level at Santa Anita towards the end of the Santa Anita meet. Ran a second place finish, got beaten, a good amount by Shady Stripes. Shady Stripes came back to run a nice race at Del Mar just recently. It just looks to me like this horse might get over bet because people see the slow start, finish second. I think with a little bit better start, certainly this horse will be in play. As I mentioned, there really is a lack of talent in this field. So I think Forgotten Memories, showed enough in that initial start that if the horse runs anything similar, certainly could be live here. So we're going to put the 1 and the 2 in the 5th race. Let's go to the 6th race of the day. 6th race is a mile and a 16th on the turf. So they're going 2 turns, starting out in that chute and going around is your mile and a 16th. These are $25,000 condition claimers. And the condition is horses who have never won 2 in their lifetime. They're going for 25. So again, a lot of horses who just have been also rans in their last many races, and a little hard to decipher who's going to be good enough here. I'm going to put 2 horses in. I'll explain why. I'm going to put the 1 horse who is Sandbagger for Gary Studi and Tyler Bays. This horse has been pretty much, knocking around in the maiden claiming races in the turf there. Those are the $50,000 variety, which they do there in Southern California. Has run some good races there. Broke his maiden in that $50,000 level on the turf at Santa Anita back in the springtime. And, followed it up with a couple decent races, which I think will put this horse square, in play here in this race. Having run in a starter allowance and dipped down into this 25,000 claiming level, which he ran last time. And I thought the horse ran a nice second there at Santa Anita, coming second to King of Dragons. Coming off that race, Gary Studi doesn't start, a lot of horses as he once did at one time, having bigger barns. But I, certainly can get it done. He's, certainly knows how to train a horse. So Sandbagger at 5-1, I think is live. Maybe a tucked in trip there. Tyler Bays will know what to do there from the rail. I'm going to go all the way now to the outside of the field here. That being Coco-san, the 9 horse. Coco-san certainly, is dropping into a lower level here for John Sadler and Joel Rosario. Now, I don't know if these guys are just not going to get it done during this Del Mar meet, or, they're just taking a long time to get started, because, it's been a big disappointment for the Sadler-Rosario team, and I'm sure a lot of tickets have hit the floor over there at the Del Mar Grandstand with folks playing these guys. And, I've got to say that I've had many tickets hit the floor too, because I've had the Sadler-Rosario connection and many tickets. So, haven't gotten it done, but I think, at some point we're going to see some progress here. This horse dropping into a lower level, 3-1 in the program, so certainly is no secret. Coco-san has run with better horses. She broke her maiden in maiden special weights, so that's certainly a nice accomplishment given this field. And, the horse ran okay at Del Mar, running okay on the turf at Del Mar with better horses. So maybe the drop here into this 25,000 condition claimer is going to make this horse faster. We see that does happen. So I think Coco-san could be dangerous here. We're going to put the 1 and the 9 in the 6th race. All right, let's go to the 7th race of the day, which is the feature. This is the $150,000 real good deal. These are state-bred, California-bred horses. These are 3-year-olds, and they're going 7 furlongs. And, I always like the real good deal. I do like this race when it, appears on the calendar at Del Mar. You get some nice Calbreds, running for a good purse of $150,000 at a good distance of 7 furlongs. Sometimes these horses won't get the chance to run this distance because they don't always card them a whole lot. But I think there's some nice horses here. As with a lot of Calbred races, you get some of the young, well, they're all 3-year-olds, they're all the same age, but some lightly raced horses who have shown some ability going up against horses who have experience. And you just have to kind of weigh out what you think is more important. Are those young, the lightly raced sharp horses going to duplicate that? Or when they face horses who have done a little more than they have, some more experience, what happens when, those two things meet. But here's what I'm going to do here. I'm going to go to the outside of the field here. I'm going to go with the 10 horse, who is Ocean Bear, for George Papapadromo. Umberto Rispoli takes the call. Now, Rispoli's been on this horse for all 4 of his starts. He's 3 of 4, 3 winners out of 4 starts with 1 second. And a lot of that damage happening over at Del Mar. And even at this distance, he won a stakes race at this distance, running in the Golden State Juvenile over Breeders' Cup weekend. So Ocean Bear was a really nice horse last year as a 2-year-old for the Papapadromo barn. Having a record like that and just showing a lot of versatility and running at different distances and winning, showing a very nice, ability there. So something obviously went wrong because we hadn't seen this horse since Halloween of last year. So something obviously went wrong for the George Papapadromo barn for this horse. We're going to see if George can train. I'm not the biggest Papapadromo fan, so, taking a risk here with Papapadromo training off a layoff, we'll see if we can get it done. I think Ocean Bear is a very talented horse, as he's shown. We're going to see if Papapadromo can get it done off a long layoff. A lot of other trainers can. Let's see, Georgie P. You got to get this done like they do. 5-1. Rispoli riding very well. Distance should be no problem. This horse is 1 at 7 furlongs. I think Ocean Bear, if he's ready, certainly fits very well with these. And then I'm going to put the 11 horse with Start the Ride for Dan Blacker and Armando Ayuso. Armando Ayuso certainly knows this horse well. He's been on this horse several times, including his win. So Ayuso definitely knows Start the Ride. He's ridden this horse well. Start the Ride, in watching his film, this horse is 4-1 in the program. I'm going to guess this horse is going to get bet lower, based on his running lines and his accomplishments. This horse has shown a lot of ability at 2 turns. All 3 of his wins are at 2 turns. He won the Cal Cup Derby at Santa Anita at 1 1/16th, and he won a mile race, allowance race at Santa Anita, 2 turns. And then he ended up running a nice second at Los Alamitos at 1 1/8 in the Los Al Derby. So distance is certainly no problem for this horse as he's done it, but they're going 7. I like to cut back to 7. If a horse has ability at these 2-turn races, when they cut back to 7, they seem to be very well put, well meant in those races. I like the outside post. Start the Ride runs with a lot of nice energy. It looks to me in his last races, he just has a nice stride, has a nice energy level, it seems. I think there's going to be some speed inside, looks to me. I don't know if those horses can hold. I could see Start the Ride circling around and drawing off in the stretch. Again, not a big secret. He's 4-1 in the program. I think he'll get bet more than that. But I'm going to put the 2 horses in the real good deal, being the 10 horse Ocean Bear and the 11 horse Start the Ride. All right, now let's move on to the last race of the day. That's the 8th race. 8th race has an approximate post time about 5:30 Pacific. So that's 7:30 here in the evening, Central Time Zone. This 8th race, a lot of attention will be put on this race. This is the end of the pick 6. It'll be the payoff leg there. If there's a big pool, maybe some potentially big payoffs there. Big, pick 5, turf pick 3, late pick 3. So a lot of eyes on this race here. They're going 1 mile on the grass, so 2 turns here. These are maiden special weights. These are California breds, 3-year-olds and up. They're fillies and mares. Open race here. I'm going to put 5 horses in coverage. Hope we got that live ticket. We've got a lot of coverage, to cover us if any mishaps happen or anything like that. Race, sets up differently. We'll have 5 horses back in coverage. So I'm going to put the 1 horse who is Jan's Joy from Mark Glatt. Abel Lascano on the horse. Abel Lascano and Mark Glatt make a nice team. They've paired up for some wins. Lascano rode this horse first time out. I thought the horse ran a nice race. First time out on a sprint. Coming out of the 2-hole, not the easiest thing to do. I thought the horse ran a nice 3rd that day. The horse given a little time off here, a couple months. By Ohm, out of a Dixie Chatter mare. A mile should be no problem for this horse. Mark Glatt certainly can get him ready off the bench. So we'll put the 1, Jan's Joy. We're going to put the 5 horse. 5 horse being Grazing in the Grass for Tim Yakteen. Antonio Fresu on the horse here. Now this horse has 2 starts over at Santa Anita in sprint races, both on those 6 furlong dirt sprints, those flat grass sprints. Has run some even races and, should certainly put this horse in play for this race here. 8-1, grazing in the grass. Maybe the stretch out to a mile could help this horse. We'll see. But Freysu should have this horse in a good position, 8-1. We'll see if this works out there. Going to put the 6-horse Volcanologist. Volcanologist. There we go. So, studier of volcanoes, I guess. So anyway, that's Andy Mathis, trainer. Ricardo Gonzalez on the horse. Gonzalez has been on this horse twice. Now, I'll tell you, Ricardo Gonzalez not riding too well at Del Mar. I don't know what's going on with Ricardo Gonzalez. He's had some good horses. Hasn't really gotten it done. I'm putting this horse in 8-1 for the sole fact I think this horse can get the lead. I don't know that these are all that good of horses in this race. So maybe a horse that does go and get the lead can wire them going a mile. We certainly see that happen a lot at the Del Mar Thoroughbred Club on their turf course. Volcanologist. Maybe that will happen. If this horse gets to the lead, he could be dangerous. If he doesn't get to the lead, well then I probably put a horse in that won't win. So I'm going to put the 6 in there just for the sole point. I think this horse will take the lead. 7-horse Marla Hooch. Going to put this one in for Phil D'Amato, Armando Ayuso. Marla Hooch already broke her maiden and got DQ'd back in April. Got DQ'd, ended up winning that race, and ended up getting DQ'd. The Loan Exchange ended up getting put up. We saw the Loan Exchange run a couple days ago. So Marla Hooch, followed that DQ race up with a couple just even efforts at 6 furlongs. Again, a lot of these horses show a very similar pattern where they're just kind of running even races and, kind of even speed figures even with each other. So just a lot of bunching up horses here. It's hard to really decipher who's going to get it done here. But she's 5-1, so we'll put Marla Hooch in here. That's the 7-horse. And then finally going to put the 11-horse in, who is Impressionistic for Leonard Powell and Joel Rosario. Now this horse also has a couple starts on grass. First start, nothing to really write home about. Came out of that Marla Hooch race where Marla Hooch got DQ'd. Looks to me on film that was just kind of a get me over the track race. This horse, Impressionistic, followed that up with a nice run at a mile on the grass at Santa Anita. 8-1 with Rosario. Thinking about throwing this horse out, and I said to myself, what if Rosario just gets going on Friday? I don't have him on the ticket in the last race, and he beats me with a pretty nice price. That would be a crushing blow. So as many of them are in this last race, possibly good enough to win, certainly bad enough to not win. So that's why I'm putting 5 of them in here. So we've got, in this last race, the 1, 5, 6, 7, 11. All right, now let's recap the day and recap the bets. Okay, so for Friday, July 31st, we've got a late pick 4. The pick 4 does start in the 4th race. We're going to start out that 4th race with the 1-3, with the 1-2, with the 1-9, with the 10-11, with the 1, 5, 6, 7, 11. Now that ticket today is a $40 ticket. I think it's worth a try at $40. If you see fit, you want to play it as is, be my guest. I wish you the best of luck. You can always add or subtract to it based on what you want to spend. If you want to bet the pick 3s within it or the pick 4 within it, I wish you the best of luck in what you decide to do. Let's wish the folks over at Del Mar a very safe day of racing on this Friday. Let's wish ourselves some good luck and some good trips, as we know that makes all the difference in winning and losing. So as always, I thank you so much for watching Fast Horses today and listening to the picks. If you haven't done so already, please do me a favor, hit that subscribe button for me. We've had a lot of new subscribers lately. Thank you very much, and thank you to everyone who's done it from day one. I appreciate everyone. You can always like, dislike, make comments, make good comments, make bad comments. I promise to respond to everything. Let's create a discussion. So let's thank you again for watching Fast Horses today, and we'll be back for more coverage at Del Mar where the turf meets the surf. Thank you.